as a salesperson, what's one quick tip that you could do to fix a lot of your sales process and help you close more deals? I'm Sylvan Bell. I'm coming to you live from New York City on a perfect day to talk about sales and a perfect day to talk about you. I really wanted to shoot this video from outside. I'm up in my hotel room. You get a really cool background, some vinyl, but whatever. So, as a salesperson, one of the things that happens is when you struggle, you tend to talk more and ask less questions because you speed up the sales process because you want to get to the close, because you want to get to the money, because you want to get to that dopamine rush. And I'm going to say, here is a problem. The best salespeople out there, it's about a 60-40, 70-30 split that who is talking. And if it's 60 to 70% of the time that it's your buyer and 30 to 40% of the time that it's you should have a really darn good closing rate. Now, as you start moving that scale closer to 50-50 and 40-60, what you're going to find is it takes a lot of discounting and a lot of price matching to get deals, and then you also get a lot of cancellations. And where this comes in is most salespeople, they rush into a call, they rush to meet with a buyer, they show up and give as much information as they can, as fast as they can to get to the close. When in all reality is there's a certain amount of rapport that needs to be built, a certain amount of discovery that needs to be built. And this is where salespeople really screw up. There's two places. One, they start doing logic sales. And you hear the phrase, people buy on emotion and justify with logic. And so what they do is they reverse it, is they rely on logic and they don't ever really get to the emotion. And one of the reasons is the fortune is in the follow-up. And that's not just making a call or an email or sending a package after you do a presentation. The fortune is in the follow-up and the follow-up question. And so if you really want somebody to talk, you got to get good at the Socratic method of asking questions. Tell me more of what you mean by that. That's interesting. How does that help you? How does that hurt you? How does that benefit you? Like, you should do everything possible to get out like a Word document or whatever the Apple version of it is, Notepad, or I don't know what it's called. But you should really write down as many questions as you can come up with. If you got a sales team, sit down and write down as many questions as you can come up with so that you can have a conversation with people. Now, there's a problem where you're interrogating people and not being curious. And when I write with salespeople, when they're struggling, they tend to go into interrogation mode. They're not calm, they're not precise, they're just too rushed to get to the close so they can say, like, I closed the deal, I've got some money, yay me, only to find out that you usually get a complaint or a cancellation, okay? So for you, what you need to know is if you really want to close deals, you should know what your count is for how much you've talked versus how much they've talked. And there's a couple different ways for you to do this. I got to tell you, depending upon the state that you're in or the country that you're in, you got to get permission to record somebody. But you could use an app like Otter.ai, and you can record a sales presentation if you got permission, if you need it, and you can download the information at Otter.ai and you can look at word count. It's not hard to do. You just cut and paste it into like a Word document. It'll tell you how many words are in each section, and it'll tell you versus how much you're talking versus how much they're talking. Very low cost way to do it. You don't really have to hire anybody. Otter.ai is free. You can get 6 hours of transcription for free. It's $9 a month for 60 hours. I mean, like, you're out of excuses. This is a low risk, high reward thing for you to do. Figure out what your talking rate is and your question rate is and how much time that other person spends talking versus what you're talking. And so, salespeople get the sequence wrong a lot. They go in and they push really hard in the beginning, and then they got to oversell towards the end, and it causes them to talk a lot more. It's so much easier if you ask really good questions. It's so much easier if you talk your situation through with people and get them to open up, right? Remember, you should be talking like 30 to 40%. They should be talking 60 to 70. And like, hey, Scott, that's hard. Yeah, it's hard. That's why sales is hard. It's not easy to do. There you go. You got one thing to do from here, just one thing. Find the subscribe button, click on it every time I send out a video. You'll get an update that says Scott Bell Consultant sent out another fantastic video, probably from a cool location like New York City, Tahiti, Thailand, Vietnam. I don't know, wherever I get to go. We'll see you soon. Thanks for dropping by. Aloha.